whether you like them or you don't like them, people are going to use them. So you're better off to have a piece of regulation in place and just not hope for the best, because I can tell you after what we saw with Terra Luna, people are going to do this. And if they don't do it inside a system that's regulated, they'll do it outside the system and you'll never control it.
Okay, so now with the stablecoin paper that we're doing right now, the thing is we're also seeing in the US side, well, at least for now, with as far as I can see in terms of the news, they are only allowing the banks. They wanted to only allow the banks to do it. How different is the paper that what we're trying to do?
So ours actually allows, and I think this is the kicker of why the model on stablecoins is very good, because it feeds off the umbrella law we had on virtual assets. So you think about the US, they don't have an umbrella act they can just put stablecoins into. It comes out of whoever's going to be in control of it, the Federal Reserve. What we did, we said stablecoin issuers don't necessarily need to be financial institutions. They can be virtual asset service providers, because in this whole ecosystem, you need the exchanges. I mean, when you have a stablecoin, you've got to cash it in somewhere. You know, you can't, we're going to go to JP Morgan and they're going to cash in their own stablecoin. It doesn't work. So we've included VASPs to be allowed with a proportionate amount of regulation that's prudential and AML and consumer investor protection. We've got a tier for VASPs, and we've done it in a tiered approach. We've included algorithmic stablecoins, and we've also included yield-bearing stablecoins. Now, everybody told me 6 months ago that there was no way that yield-bearing stablecoins were going to happen, and I was stupid. And I was like, no, I promise you, in the next 6 months, someone will issue a yield-bearing stablecoin. Because it now,
right? Just set a yield-bearing stablecoin.
Friday.
Yeah.
Well, you get 3.14%. And I've been looking at this for a year, because if you look at the ecosystem, there's a lot of money in our ecosystem. There's so much money. These people generally don't want to go back into the fiat currency system, to be quite honest. But I have stable coins, but the problem with the stable coin is I can have it, but I'm not earning any yield. So when I get paid in stable coins, or I get stable coins, I would generally transfer it into one of my high yield savings accounts, because at least I'm getting 3% from it. So I've thought about this for a while, and I thought, well, somebody will build a stable coin that is yield bearing, because that way the ecosystem doesn't need to go and transfer it back into fiat currency. They can stay in the ecosystem of digital finance. So I think that was going to come regardless of whether people liked it or they don't. Algorithmic stablecoins, I can't